I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we are in the cafe at the Holiday Inn Country Club Plaza. I am with its executive chef, Bear Cohn. Bear, thank you for inviting us into your kitchen.
Absolutely. Glad to have you.
Okay, chef, so what is the concept for the cafe?
The theme, or it's not really one style themed, it's got a persuasion to it.
Persuasion. Okay, we're going to be persuaded, I can tell, as soon as we get into the kitchen. And if I may say this, a broad sweep, a generalization, that traditionally restaurants that are inside of hotels are thought of as an amenity. Not necessarily as destination dining.
Correct.
But so here you are, again, right near the plaza, and shopping and entertainment around you. And you're trying to create a reason for us, even though we may not be guests here at the hotel, to come dine with you.
And that's probably one of the misnomers is the perception out there is that a restaurant inside of a hotel is for the hotel guests only, when in actuality we are completely open to the public. With the history of the hotel and where this place used to be, this was the destination.
Okay, I actually remember the Konakai Room, which was a destination restaurant in the area. So we're trying to resurrect that concept. It's not the Konakai, but it's the cafe.
The cafe.
The cafe. All right, your journey. How did you end up here at the Holiday Inn?
At the Holiday Inn. Born and raised in the South.
We hear that. We can't hide it. Don't want to.
Don't want to.
Don't want to.
Had some family that took ill, that brought my family up here. Turned out from taken care of to being a permanent move. So pretty much my entire adult life I've been here in Kansas City.
How did food become a part of your life?
From a picture or a thought, I put it onto, and I create a plate, and I create a flavor profile, and I deliver a wow factor.
Okay, so your process it actually begins with the visual.
From there, I start putting what does it take to make it, the sauces, the spices, the seasonings. The simplest food needs to taste great, and that's what my concentration is. It doesn't matter how complex or how simple it is. It has to taste good. And if it doesn't taste good, you haven't done your job. So that's what I really concentrate.
So speaking of seasoning, I understand you've developed some of your own. You brought the Creole from down south up here, and you have a Creole seasoning?
I have my own Creole seasoning that I have.
That you use only in the restaurant.
That I only use here. Unfortunately, it's not available to anyone else to purchase.
We'll have to come here and taste it, I guess.
That's the whole idea.
Yep.
It's made from 7 different peppers that have been dehydrated, crushed. It has a very unique flavor. Has a little heat to it, but it's not overwhelming. And it's one of those,
It's that balance.
The more you use, the hotter it's going to get and so forth. But it adds a very different characteristic to everything that it's applied to. So it's good.
All right. So what are we going to make today in the kitchen?
We're going to make 2 different items. We're going to do an appetizer, and we're also going to do an entree. The appetizer, we're going to do our New Orleans style roasted oysters. Very, very complex dish, and is a very surprising taste flavor profile. It's not just an oyster. It's got butter. It's got hot sauce. It's got lemon juice.
How could it be bad?
It's got shrimp.
So if you never liked oysters, you will today.
You're going to absolutely love this one. And then our entree, we're going to do our Kansas City strip steak. And it's
a tradition.
That's very traditional.
Traditional.
And it's going to be topped with a bourbon bacon sauce.
Bacon. So I know there's bacon also in the appetizers. And I have firmly come to believe that bacon should be its own food group. I mean, it's just, it's a product. You don't even need to use very much of it to get a great flavor from it.
It does. It's kind of one of those secret ingredients that we've always used.
So what do you love? I mean, is Creole kind of at the heart of what you do?
It's a very strong passion. I mean, that is an infusion that I put in a lot of the dishes here.
So you're the executive chef, which means that in addition to preparing food, you also provide leadership in the kitchen. And what is it you want to impart to your cooks? What to inspire them, to give them that passion?
If you were to take an interview with any of my staff, they'll tell you education, education, education. We never stop. We are constantly on a learning path on how to do, how to make, how to perfect, how to create. I've got to teach them that process. I gotta turn on the switches that they have so that they can perform the same thing. And for those who are inspired and want to become more, part of what I do is to make them that person.
So giving them some freedom too for their own
Sure.
creativity to develop. You're providing sort of a path
Right.
for that journey. Okay, well, Chef, I think we need to get into the kitchen. We need to make these dishes because we have a celebrity taster coming. Our very own Brian Busby, chief meteorologist at Channel 9, is so looking forward to tasting your signature dishes.
I'm excited.
Okay, let's get in the kitchen. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we are in the kitchen at the cafe in the Country Club Plaza's Holiday Inn. With me is their executive chef, Bear Cohn. We're getting ready to make 2 of his signature dishes, an appetizer and an entree. And our appetizer is roasted oysters. Okay, Chef, what's the first thing we do?
First thing you do on the oysters, I've already put them on the half shell here. So these are raw. And we are going to put these in the oven and roast them for about 8 to 10 minutes.
And what temperature do we want the oven?
We're going to do it at 350 degrees.
Okay, so into the oven they go.
Into the oven they go.
Okay, Chef, the oysters are roasting in the oven. What do we have on the cooktop?
On the cooktop here, we have some of our shrimp that is part of a component that's in this dish. I've got kind of my own little bouillabaisse here, some lemon flavor, an onion, some of my spices, my Bear's Essence that I have. Bring this up to the boil. The shrimp are just about all done, and this is, again, part of the component that's going to be on this dish.
So this isn't a stock, it's really a result of the Bear spices and some water and lemon and onion.
Correct. For the New Orleans style
that's right. I gotta do Creole.
We gotta have some of that Creole infusion in there.
Okay.
That's really what we got here.
So while this is on the cooktop and the oysters are in the oven, we still have some more work to do for the dish.
We do.
Okay, let's go to it. Okay, we're roasting in the oven. We've got shrimp that we've just taken off the cooktop. And what are you wanting me to? This is kosher salt?
This is kosher salt. You can do kosher salt, sea salt. So actually, what we're going to do, very common characteristic of this plate is whenever you have oysters, you place them on a bed of salt because the oysters in the shell, it's going to rock back and forth. This is going to help stabilize it on the plate.
Okay.
To give it a little trend, I do a blue ocean sea salt.
Of course you do.
So here we're going to add just a couple of drops.
And this is just food coloring, yes?
Just plain food coloring, and you just keep whipping and whipping and whipping and whipping until all of that's done.
Okay, so I'm gonna be ferocious while you're working with the shrimp, and you can make this any color you want, except you want this to be the ocean.
Green, you can make it yellow, you can make it blue, you can make whatever food coloring that you have.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'm taking the shrimp off, and we're actually going to take the tails off.
Beautifully cooked. And I noticed you left the tails on. There's some people that believe that having the tails on imparts some flavor with the cooking. Is that a thought of yours?
Yeah, it's gonna add some flavor to the shrimp itself just because of what the shell's gonna do. But we're actually gonna take the tip off because it's gonna be inside of our oyster, and we want everything to be edible on there.
Just slide it into your mouth
and
go for it.
Right.
And I noticed that you did devein them before you cooked them.
I did.
A kindness to your diner. Let's look at your mise en place, which is gorgeous. What do we have here?
Here we have some drawn butter, some fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Unsalted butter?
Salted.
Salted.
Sweet cream butter.
It is salted?
It is.
Okay, so an important to note. Yes?
Lemon juice.
Yes.
Fresh squeeze.
Yes.
We've got some hot sauce, Louisiana style.
Yeah, of course.
Got, of course, some bacon.
A food group, major
Absolutely.
food group, yeah.
We have blue cheese dressing and some provolone cheese. And then, of course, the shrimp.
Okay, so we're all ready to put this dish together.
As soon as they come out, we're ready to go.
Okay, Chef, we have blue salt and we have cooked shrimp and roasted oysters. How do we put this together?
Well, the first thing that we got to do is we got to take the oyster we have to loosen the meat because the meat itself is actually connected to the shell.
Yes.
But we don't want to lose all that juice. That's what we call the champagne. We want all of that to stay there. So we're going to loosen all the meat here because the whole idea behind this dish is it's going to be one great big bite.
A slurp, if you will.
A slurp, if you will. So we're just going to take a spoon and about a half a spoon per, because I've got a lot of ingredients here.
Yes, you do. And so that's part of it. Using just a little bit of each provides all those flavors just marry together.
To marry together.
To remind us.
This is the lemon juice. That was butter. This is a fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Really makes a difference.
It does. You know, on the pre-made lemon juices, there's so much preservative in it and so forth that it really takes away from the spunk of the tartness of the lemon juice. Now the hot sauce just is your own flavor profile. Me, I'm a hot sauce guy, so
of course.
I'm not gonna be too.
You're not bashful.
No.
No.
Instead of individually, I'm actually gonna make a slurry here.
All right, so we're putting bacon into the blue cheese.
And I'm looking for kind of a really thick.
Okay, so that bacon has been fried or could be baked in the oven, and then when it's finished, you just crumble it.
Right. So I'm looking for a real tasty combination to make it look kind of like that, where when I put a group on there, it's not going to be running anything. So first, before we do that, we're going to put a shrimp
There's the little guys now.
on each one of these. Here, a good dollop.
You're generous.
Just right on top.
Yep.
Because this is really a major component here. And then here, provolone cheese. We're just going to put a slice of cheese. Let my fingers start working here.
You give me some, I'll help.
Sure.
Okay, there you go. And provolone
we just kind of want to center it.
It's not an overwhelming.
It's not. It's really a very bland cheese, but it does have a kind of a subtle flavor to it.
So it's just going to melt on top of this, you know, sort of like a little blanket for all these flavors.
From here, we're going to put these back in the oven and melt all this goodness together.
And then we'll plate. Okay, Chef, we are in the kitchen with Executive Chef Bear Cohn at the Cafe Holiday Inn Country Club Plaza. We are on to the entree, a Kansas City favorite.
Kansas City strip steak.
There you go. I mean, this is serious. You cut your own steaks here.
Every piece of meat that we have in this kitchen, we actually butcher ourselves. So not only is it fresh, it's hand carved. We trim it just right so it has enough fat content to get flavor, but it's not chewy. It's some of the bad stuff that a lot of the steakhouses do. We eliminate all that right.
That's not going to happen here. Okay. So, Chef, to begin.
So, on the strip butt here, I've already cleaned it. It's ready to go. So we offer two different size steaks here. We offer an 8-ounce. We offer a 12-ounce. So for our lunch here today, we're going to go ahead and do an 8-ounce strip.
All right.
Okay. So this is choice, and you have prime, choice, select, and really the difference between the two is going to be the marbling content. And that's whenever you're in the grocery store looking for a steak. That's really what you're looking for, is all the different marbling of everyone calls it fat. It is fat. But actually through the cooking process,
it's also flavor.
That's where the flavor comes from.
You're going to eat beef.
We're going to take some really nice virgin olive oil, give it just a little coating.
And people think, oh, well, there's already some fat in the steak. Why do I need to add fat to it? And that really helps caramelize. I mean,
it helps the grilling process. It's also just going to add another flavor component to there. We're going to make a little salt and pepper blend.
All right, so this is kosher salt, and I know you fresh crack your pepper. And so what would you say, is this 50-50 or no, a little more salt?
About a 70-30.
70-30, 70% salt. That wouldn't be your special private blend.
And this is my private steak blend here. Okay. We do one side. You want to blend both sides together.
Oh yeah.
Don't make one jealous from the other.
Don't be bashful with the seasoning on. Some of it falls off in the grill anyway.
Correct.
Don't be bashful. See, you're not bashful. No,
you're
not bashful anyway. So
just give it a good coating all the way around. You don't want to make it real heavy, real small. This has got a real nice hickory flavor to it.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And then from there, we're ready to put it on the grill.
I think we should go to the grill.
Let's do it.
Let's go to the grill. Okay, Chef, the steaks are seasoned. We've got a grill. Let's cook.
We're ready to go.
Yep.
We're ready to go. So on the grill here, I'm going to place these at an angle here. You know, when you grill a steak, you want that real pretty diamond flavor.
You do.
And that's really how you get it, at an angle, and then you're going to turn it at a separate angle there.
And then do the same thing on the other side.
Do the same thing on the other side.
Can we make our sauce?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
So our sauce starts, it's a bourbon bacon sauce. So
And what is this yummy
this
thing?
is just a basic bechamel.
Okay,
Bechamel
so
is
some flour, butter, and a little bit of milk?
It's a chicken flavored stock, basically. Chicken, steak, how does that work?
You know it does. It works.
It does work when you put all the components that I'm going to put in.
Here comes more components.
Here comes more components. So a little bit of fresh parsley in it to give it that
Beautiful
nice
bright
color
green,
flavor.
yes.
A little bit of earthiness on there. And then my favorite, you can't have a bourbon sauce without bourbon.
Without bourbon.
Now, my daddy told me when I was little.
And you listen to your
If
daddy.
you can't taste the bourbon, you don't have a bourbon sauce.
Okay.
So let's put a little bourbon in there.
You might want to lift the pan off the fire when you add the bourbon.
Just
now,
want to be
obviously,
a little bit
you
careful.
do this
with it.
here.
Want to be a little bit careful. So I don't want to put the bacon in there right now. The bacon is going to be very crisp, and if I cook it and render it in the sauce, it's going to soften that bacon, and I really want a crisp bite to it in the sauce.
Yes.
So we're going to flip the...
So you notice that 45-degree angles.
Yep.
Okay. So the bacon has already been cooked.
Bacon's already cooked.
So that's a last-minute addition.
Right. Actually, it's going to be at the very end. We're going to put that in there. And really, once you're...
Oh, yummy.
Once the flambe aspect of it goes out and it's bubbling, it's pretty well done. Because it's a cream-based sauce.
Reduce a little.
A little bit, but because it's a cream-based sauce, I don't want to keep cooking it because then I can scorch it and it's going to bring a flavor in it that we don't want.
So that happens rather quickly, and the bechamel sauce is something you can have made ahead of time.
Ahead of time.
And it is also great for mac and cheese and a whole variety of lasagna, lots of dishes.
Correct.
Aren't those, see, look how pretty. It's just about how you put it on the grill. We are in the kitchen with Executive Chef Bear Cohn at the cafe in the Holiday Inn on the Country Club Plaza. We, mostly Chef, has been cooking up a storm, and now it's time to plate these signature dishes. Okay, so the roasted oysters first.
So the roasted oysters. So you prepared the seeding of the oysters.
I had so much fun in making blue salt.
So we're going to take the salt here. Because I got 4 of them here, I'm just going to make 4.
And just to remind people, the food coloring has no flavor whatsoever.
No flavor whatsoever. It's just...
You're not really going to taste it anyway.
And it's not really an edible garnish. It's just what we can take these oysters on so that we can... One of them tried to...
See, there was a little guy trying to get away.
It all tried to get away.
Us. And then the beauty of the salt is to help stabilize the oyster anyway, because they're always, that is gorgeous. We had so much fun making those. Isn't that beautiful? What a wonderful creation, Chef. I know our celebrity taster's going to love this.
These taste just absolutely phenomenal.
Okay.
The cheese is nice and caramelized.
It's gorgeous.
On top of that, we're going to take a little bit of fresh parsley.
You always want something green and yummy, don't you? Yep.
And that finishes the plate.
Okay, roasted oysters on the half shell, and now we're going to do the entree.
Entree.
Okay, Chef, time to plate the entree, and this is a serious sauce. It's had its fair share of bourbon.
And if you can smell the aroma.
Oh, I can smell the bourbon.
Smell that bourbon.
And parsley,
So,
bechamel sauce, and...
The last thing I want to put in here is the bacon. Again, I want it to be crisp. The flavor profile is still going to be in there. So let's not be too conservative on the bacon because we got to...
No. Very generous with all we're doing here.
So that right there is
such
what
a
it's going to be.
happy sauce,
right
yes.
there. So before we put that on,
Yes.
we're going to take our potatoes here. I have a garlic infused red smashed potatoes.
And this is like a pastry bag.
It is.
It is a pastry
But
bag.
it's a fancy way to make them look.
You know what?
So we're going
It's
to take them and we're just going to
how pretty.
look at that.
It's beautiful. And again, these are red potatoes that have been smashed with garlic and butter in them.
We have some beautifully grilled asparagus.
You do. And
seasoned just right. We're going to put those on there.
we should note that these are not overcooked, as evidenced by their bright green, yet snappy texture.
The important thing is when you take your steak off the grill, let it sit for a second. Let it rest.
We need to remember to do that. Yeah, it's actually juicier and it even tastes better.
It does. It does.
Okay.
So we're going to take this steak
That is a happy steak too.
and we're going to put it right there on top. Same thing with this one here. We're going to set
Beautiful
it right
grill
there
marks.
on top until we do our sauce. And just let it burn. A little dusting of the plate. This is also one of my signature seasonings.
I know that you can only get here.
Over here.
That's beautiful, Chef. I think we need to go to the bar and pair these dishes
Absolutely.
in preparation for our celebrity taster.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabakoff. We have just been in the kitchen at the cafe, the Holiday Inn on the Country Club Plaza with their executive chef Bear Cohn. We have made two signature dishes, a roasted oyster appetizer and a steak for our entree. What should we drink with these dishes, Chef?
For our New Orleans style oyster roast, I have picked a Santa Margherita Pinot Grigio. This is a product of Italy. It is an absolute fabulous Pinot Grigio. It is crisp, light. It has a wonderful citrus flavor to it. It's not overpowering. It's not oversweet. It's got a great, just a very comfortable blend. Stands on its own, and it is just exceptional to the flavor palette.
Okay.
Goes great with the chicken, with the fish. In this case, with a little bit of the spices that I'm going to have in the oysters, this is going to be the right pairing for it.
Okay, now on to the steak. What to drink?
Onto the steak.
On to the steak.
Onto the steak, on our menu here, I've picked our Stancia Pinot Noir. This is a very, very, very great Pinot Noir. It's a Washington product. So it has a very nice oaky flavor to it. It's got a very deep berry flavor. It's got some flavor, some apples in there. It's very, very good. The Pinot Noir or the Pinot Grape, you definitely taste that. But it's very subtle. It is on the sweeter side, so it's going to really extract a great flavor from the beef that we put out there. And especially on the sauce that I'm going to put on there, it's going to marry itself very, very well.
Okay, Chef. I think we're ready for our celebrity taster.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabakoff, and we have been in the kitchen at the cafe in the Holiday Inn on the Country Club Plaza. Chef and I have been busy making signature dishes for our celebrity taster, Chief Meteorologist Brian Busby at Channel 9.
Hello. Good to be back.
It is good to have you back with us in the kitchen. We've also done some wine pairing. Chef, would you tell us what we prepared for Brian?
Absolutely, absolutely. As an appetizer on our menu is our New Orleans style roasted oyster.
Okay.
This is an oyster on the half shell that we have roasted. It's got a little bit of butter. It's got a little bit of lemon juice and hot sauce. It's got a shrimp on it. It's got a slurry of bacon and blue cheese topped
Bacon.
with...
Did you hear the bacon part?
Yeah, I heard that.
It's a
And blue
food
cheese.
group.
You can't go wrong.
New food group, yeah.
Topped with provolone cheese, some fresh parsley on there. And then we've topped it off with our blue sea salt.
Now, for folks who've never had an oyster, I mean, is it going to be that slimy, slithery? I love oysters.
The oyster kind of gets its bad name because it's usually traditionally eaten raw,
but
and it
you
has
can
that
do that.
slime. But this is it's actually cooked. Everything on here is a cooked item, so it's going to have a multiple of flavor explosions when you eat it. You're not going to just taste the oyster. You're going to taste the shrimp, the bacon, the blue cheese. It's going to be a real nice, and it's really just a one scoop bite.
Got it.
Is how it's designed.
Like a big amuse-bouche.
Absolutely, absolutely. Then on our entree here, we have our strip sirloin, and it is topped with our bacon bourbon sauce.
There's bacon again.
I know.
Again.
It is a food group. People
It
just
is.
don't know.
Yeah, this is true.
It's got our garlic infused red smashed potatoes and our vegetables, grilled asparagus.
So, Chef, what's the motivation? I mean,
Born and raised in the South.
Can you hear that?
just a little.
Just a little.
Are you fixing to go somewhere?
Not as bad as it used to be.
What wines have you selected
In
for us, Chef?
for the appetizer,
Yes.
we have a Santa Margherita. It is a Pinot Grigio from Italy. It is a very, very great sweet flavor. It's got great citrus in it. You really taste the fruit in it.
Oh, the aroma was great.
Good,
It has a
yes.
fabulous aroma. And then for your steak, we've got an
Yes.
Estancia Pinot Noir, which has
We're
a
into
very deep
Pinots today,
wild
yes.
cherry flavor. It's got a real burgundy tone, but it's very light, stands on its own feet, not overwhelming or anything like that. Will really bring out the sweetness of the meat.
All right, you know we have to eat now.
Okay.
Chef, thank
Enjoy.
you.
Thank you, Chef.
Okay, so this is, I'm being so polite and letting you go first.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You're
it's not
seeing
gonna
your
last. It's not gonna last long. So
So, I mean, a one bite.
yeah, you can. I'm gonna get this little guy. So really, if you have a problem with raw, that's just not happening here.
Not at all. And for those who do like raw oysters, it's just a very
So
velvety,
oh,
delicate. But man, with the cheese and the shrimp,
so you wouldn't have thought of this combination. No.
I'm glad somebody
No,
did though.
I know. Well, Chef, he's Creole man. All right, I can't control myself.
You gonna go for the steak
I have
now?
to do the steak.
All
Yep.
right.
You know, it's not just guy food.
This is
Oh my
true.
goodness, we're supposed to be. You know what to say. What do you say?
Celui or lachaim?
You're really good.
Okay.
Oh, he's right. I like
Well, let
that.
me try more wine with the second oyster.
Okay,
While you dig into the beef.
I'm going to.
I always feel sorry for the crew because you don't get a chance to eat. Oh, he does? Don't eat with your mouth full. Don't talk with your mouth full. Okay. So he does get to eat? Okay.
Everybody feels sorry for the shooter. So what they do is they always feed him because he looks hungry. He's not,
does.
but I think it's an act he puts on.
Whatever works. That's
That
good.
sauce is heaven.
Just a decision.
So, Chef, really, the South just is noted for comfort food. Okay? And so bacon is just a part of so much of what happens here.
They put bacon on Jello. You know.
Have you ever had bacon with chocolate? Honey, you haven't had bacon.
I guess not. Nice. Flavorful.
So when you use fabulous ingredients and you remain true to, that's one of the things that's become consistent in the kitchen,
What's that?
is the chefs that are remaining true to their origins and bringing in whatever parts of the country, whatever cultural background with them, and they share it.
I'm glad he's sharing up
I'm
north.
glad he's sharing that. Yeah.
This is good.
Ooh, those potatoes. Have you gotten to the potatoes?
I've gotten to the potatoes, yeah.
You did?
Not yet.
No? Or do you like garlic?
I love garlic.
It's good for you too.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, I love the potatoes too. And the asparagus tastes like asparagus that's been cooked perfectly. What Chef is trying to do is restaurants sometimes in hotels are the stepchildren.
I always get a bad name.
No, right. They're an amenity.
Right.
And he's trying to take it to the next level. And so we're applauding his efforts with this wonderful meal.
Usually with a hotel, you're going to get out-of-towners as opposed to a local
True.
coming for a destination.
And that's another piece is you don't have to be in the hotel to come here and enjoy this wonderful food. And it's right near the Plaza, great location. So we're excited about what Chef is doing and what he's trying to accomplish here in a traditional destination of Kansas City. So, Mr. Weatherman, you're involved in so many things in the community that help support who we are and what we do. Anything special going on that you're particularly excited about?
Right Between the Ears, which is a comedy troupe.
Yeah.
Love doing that. And Daryl Brogdon is the producer. And every once in a while, he knows I do cartoon voices and character voices.
Is John Jessup still involved
Yes,
with that?
he is.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that over in Lawrence on the 22nd?
Yes.
23rd? Whatever the Saturday was.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so and that's for National Public Radio. Okay, Kansas Public Radio.
Exactly. And, you know, Rick Tamblyn and Roberta Solomon. And,
All the voices.
oh, yeah.
You're one of the voices you do. Okay, what's your favorite cartoon voice?
As of late to do would be SpongeBob.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Bah, bah. I'm having steak. It's so wonderful.
All right, so good, good work for public broadcasting.
Yeah, that was fun.
Good for you. All right.
And then Liberty Symphony has a concert first weekend in March. So that's was good. So I still play
So
my
we
music.
remember that in addition to being a meteorologist, you're also a musician. And good for you for having both in your life and sharing it with the community.
That's what keeps me sane.
Oh, is that? I'm going to have to
Keeps the ulcers
touch you.
away.
There
Yes.
you go. No, music is healthy for you on so many levels.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Brian, I want to thank you once again for being our celebrity taster here on In the Kitchen.
Well, are you kidding me? This
Yeah,
is
I know,
wonderful.
I know.
Really?
We forced you to do it.
I know.
Such a
It was
tragedy.
horrible.
But thank you for all you do, not only bringing us weather, but also for the community. We appreciate you
My
very
pleasure.
much.
Thank you, buddy.